show is not suitable for children, sensitive men, or insecure women. Can you trust somebody that doesn't take care of their kids?
I don't trust no man on earth that does not take care of their children.
What's the biggest red flag in a relationship?
Low effort and not being honest.
Most of the time you would think that a bad financial mistake would be spending money on clothes or vacation or like spending money on women. My worst financial mistake was buying a home.
Game time. Game time. Appreciate y'all.
All right. Yes, sir.
We back.
We back. New time. New year, new time.
Mm-hmm.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. I know a lot of you guys, you know, go to sleep at a reasonable hour.
Yes, unlike us heathens, you know.
That's a fact. So, you know, we trying to accommodate you guys, man. So, you know, I know some people might have to readjust their schedule or they might not have gotten the word. So when you watch it on the replay, but yeah, we're gonna try this time slot out 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, feel good about it.
It's great. And we made this change before Netflix announced their Netflix After Dark move that we may talk about later.
Netflix After Dark, man. Do remember tomorrow at 6 o'clock, we got a dope interview with Ian Schwartzman.
Hey.
Joe Button podcast business partner. You know, he talks about the Netflix thing amongst other things.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about people who really owns the rights to their show and a variety of other things. He got a little spicy on that one.
Not many of them do. I'm telling you who.
Yeah, for sure. So we're gonna talk about it. And then we got a guest at the end of the show. Yeah, so we got a lot to talk about. But Ian, anything you'd like to say?
Stock Club call will be this Saturday at 5 p.m. Central. Stock Club prices will be Sunday at 5 p.m. Central. And if I made you money, please put yes in chat. Happy New Year. Let's have an amazing show.
Happy New Year. Let's have an amazing one. So yeah, it's a lot going on in the world.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
It's a lot going on in the world. But first and foremost, man, can we play the video of this TraxNYC when he got spit on, when he spit in his face?
Wait.
Let's play this. Let's play the clip.
Yeah.
Let's play the clip of them spitting in the face.
Fucking little bitch. You fucking bitch. Yo, don't fucking fuck out of here.
That was so unnecessary. No!
Oh, they wildin'.
Oh my god. What happened?
Oh, they wildin'.
Oh,
Yeah, get that girl.
Yo, David.
Just
chill.
leave.
You-
In the end, they tried to kill me. Strangled me with my own chain. To get out of this hospital. TraxNYC.com.
Okay, a lot to unpack here. So
Do you not like Trax?
I don't know him. I never met him. I don't trust any jeweler. That's just my thing. Shout out to Johnny Dang came to Invest Fest, but I just
wait. This is a hot take, but you're on to something. Let's have this conversation.
Oh yeah, let's have
Why?
this. I don't trust the jewelers because I just feel like it's a sleazy industry, and it is nobody really knows, right? It's one of these things where there's so many tricks that can be played. You know, everybody says like, okay, I'm not going to be the one to buy a fake watch until you buy a fake watch. Until you buy like,
you never know.
A lot of, and it happens to. I mean, you saw Lil Baby.
Yeah, Lil Baby went to and paid. He paid what?
$400,000 for a fake watch. So I don't trust any jeweler. Hot take alert. Like I said, shout out to Johnny Day. But I don't trust a jeweler. I don't trust any jeweler. I've never gotten anything from a jeweler. Any watch that I've ever purchased, and I don't wear jewelry, but any watch that I've ever purchased, I got from an authorized dealer. Rolex, AP, London Jewelers.
Yeah.
Authorized dealer. What is the difference between an authorized dealer and a regular jeweler? Is an authorized dealer is just that they have an authorization from said company to sell that product.
Merchandise. Yep.
Right. So of course, if you buy a Rolex, you buy from a Rolex store. But like I said, there's a London jeweler. Like you can buy a Rolex from London Jeweler. That's certified. Rolex has certified that is official. They're working directly with them. It's not just going to the Diamond District and just catching any jeweler. But I don't like the jewelry industry because I feel like they all
markup is insane.
And at least from our standpoint, I look at them, they all culture vultures because they've permeated our culture. And what made them any special? It's just the rappers that just started talking about
endorsing them.
And then they made these guys celebrities, and then they all got the same attitude, the same vibe. I don't know. It's just
it's a nasty disposition.
Yeah, very nasty, very arrogant,
mm-hmm.
very loud, very yeah. It's not. I don't like it. I don't like it.
And if you're gonna work with a jeweler, make them show what they're paying for it versus what they're charging you for it. There's only a couple of them that like do good business, but even if they do good business with one person or a celebrity, doesn't mean that they'll have the same practice for you. Now, I commend Trax, even though he can be slightly obnoxious, for going about it and fending for his customer. But yeah, overall, the industry is, especially in the Diamond District area, certain parts and other cities, stay away from it. Stay away from it altogether.
I mean, so let's just talk about this, right? As far as so from that standpoint, like I said, I don't rock with any jewelers. All you jewelers, don't make reaction videos coming at me.
they are. You already know.
I don't wear jewelry, so I'm not your competition. I'm not knocking your hustle. It's not my thing, bro. I just think that you guys are really sleazy people. But hey, a hustle is a hustle. Now,
shout out to Johnny Dang once again.
Shout out to Johnny Dang.
Alex Moss, Big Mike. Other than that, I don't know.
I don't
know.
So apparently, allegedly, these guys were using his name to sell compromised product. Let's just say that. And he found out about it, and he went to approach them in a very, rage manner. And after cursing the guy out for like 3 minutes, I guess the guy just wasn't really trying to hear no more, and he spit in his face. But there was the hawk too. That was the craziest spit in the face play I've ever seen.
I've seen in my life.
Now, granted, I haven't seen a lot of people get spit on before, because that, to me, getting spit on is the most disrespectful thing in the history of mankind. And once you get,
it's top three for sure.
Top three for sure.
Yeah.
And once you get spit on, the levels that you cross on that. So I say that to say I haven't seen too many people get spit on, because I think people understand what comes with spitting on somebody.
Or in that case, like if somebody spits on you, you don't crash out, you lost immediately.
Yeah.
But he came in also too for content creators. I like Trax because I like the social media component of what he does, right? But if you come in somebody's establishment on bullshit, you're not prepared to go to war, save that content over everything mindset, because that could have went bad. Then he wanted to be like, oh, they tried to kill me. Well, you brought the war to his establishment.
Yeah, hung with your own chain.
It's insane. And you're coming by yourself and the cameraman. I want y'all to know, not only will they try and take the rights to the video if they shoot it with their cam, if you get jumped, they're not helping. They're sending it right off to World Star.
That's another thing. Let's be honest. This was a well-produced
for sure
movie. So it wasn't like he just came and was just like, I'm just crashing out. He knew exactly. He probably didn't know how it was going to play out.
Yeah.
But he came for the content.
He
came for content, which that's another story within itself. Because if you really want to crash out, are you really coming with a full camera guy? But hey, like I said, content is vitally important these days. He had a content strategy, and it worked. And he's been milking this ever since. I think he has a collaboration with Complex now, because he's been on Complex page every single day since this has happened. So he's probably paying for promotion on that standpoint.
There's big business behind it, because even if he gets 3 or 8 new customers a month, it's worth the damage that he got from being choked out and potential for him spit on. But
my thing is, shout out to him. But I was confused because people was like, yo, he's standing on business. I'm like, he got spit in his face and they choked him with his chain. What business did he stand on?
Well, the other jeweler, allegedly, the bracelet was underweight. And that's the thing. If you're buying jewelry, you have to make sure that the diamonds that you get are real, unless you're paying for the moissanite. You have to make sure that the carat weight they're selling you is the actual carat weight, and you're getting the quality of stone that you pay for. It's a big jeweler who used to run with in the A back in the day. He wrote about it in his book. Shout to Shout out to him. But when he went to go trade them watches in, they said, no, this ain't no VVD. These are BBS.
Well, no, I mean, I respect him standing up for his name of his business. I do respect that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that, okay, you coming into somebody's establishment, you know that they're not by themselves. You coming by yourself. You get spit on and you get choked to death with your own chain. That's not well thought out. Like, I'm gonna come.
Most people don't think the crash out well.
Come with your friends, or come with a bodyguard, or come with some hired goons.
Even with that, the bodyguard's not gonna ride how you think.
They're gonna do something. Like
not always. And this other trick too, if you wealthy or rich, sometimes the bodyguards that you pick will let you get into a little kerfuffle to then up tax you. Because if you're gonna play those street games, some of the security guards, even if you go get Mossad and all that other shit some of y'all be doing, if they know that you're not built like that, they're gonna tax you for the help. That's the first extortion a lot of celebrities will go through, is the locations and whereabouts not being given up through the security. So if you're going in to crash out and you're not willing to stand on it on your own, my boy, or even if you have your friends do it.
But what do you think about the cameraman? Are you mad at the cameraman? If you see, okay, you know your job is to shoot content, but you don't know how it's going to go. Yeah. Now your boss, the person that's hiring you, is paying you, and you literally see him getting choked out, and you just keep filming. Are you mad at the cameraman? At some point, does the cameraman have a responsibility to jump in?
No, they should. Our job is to upload it in 6K, 4K.
So you wouldn't be mad if your cameraman kept the camera rolling.
Yomi going, but you have to know who's capable of what. Like if you have to ask, for real, if you have to ask, will this person ride for me? They're not riding. They're not riding. Most people haven't been in a fight. They've never been in a situation where extreme violence has happened. Most have not been in a shootout or around it. It's not fun. Most people, if you hear anything go off, they're running the other way. And most of y'all don't be paying a premium enough for content creators to defend your life. That little $300 a day you giving.
I mean, look, it was the chain held up, so that's good quality.
That's good advertising.
Yeah, that's good quality chain. Yeah. And like I said, it's just, to me, it seemed like it was clout chasing to me, because I'm like, you come in there, you come in with a video camera guy, you putting on a whole stage show production. Then after you get choked, you make a video talking about how you almost got killed. Then you come back with the police. And you come back with the police to arrest them and film that, by the way. That's content.
But the crazy part is it worked.
It definitely worked.
It worked. This is one of the first viral videos of the year. And at a time when he wasn't being talked about in that top 10 stratosphere jewelers, his name's in the conversation now.
Content over everything, I guess.
No, some of y'all gonna die over that content.
But yeah, I mean, like,
be careful.
Somebody spit in your face. The first thing you do is jump headfirst over that table and choke them out. You don't try to get your bearings together, figure it out.
Listen, bro, a lot of people say that they would, and them situations happen, and they be a deer in headlights. It's a lot of men who don't stand on men principles. Because that, and then now if that'll happen, it's easy to rob you.
And then he called. That's how I knew he was clout chasing. Then he's on FaceTime with 6ix9ine, talking about he wants to fight 6ix9ine.
Trax been doing clout chasing shit for 10 years though. This ain't his first. This is his best performance for sure. But he's been doing stuff like this forever.
Yeah. Hey. Okay.
But what is the brilliant lesson that we can learn out of this to make more money in 2026?
Record everything, I mean, like I said, if that's the path that you want to go, not necessarily my
it's not my blueprint
thing, but if there's anything to be learned from this, record everything.
You think this is a coordinated crash out for promotion for both of them? Because I heard that theory kind of going around too.
I don't think that the other one, I don't see how I don't see how they benefited from it because their name is. I mean, I guess all attention is good attention, but they got dragged in the mud for selling fake jewelry.
Mhm.
They're gonna face criminal charges. I don't think that this helps them. Definitely helps Trax.
For sure.
Definitely helps him.
Yeah.
But I don't think it helped the other one.
Prayers and blessings to you, Trax. But be careful going to somebody's line then threatening them and you by yourself. That if that wasn't recorded, that would have went another way.
And just you get to me, it's not standing on business to get spit on, choked out, and then call the cops.
Well, I think people are talking.
Not standing on business. How is that standing on business?
Maybe fighting for his customer is what people were referring to. I agree with your point totally. But yeah, when I first saw it, it was like, oh, it's honorable that he defended his customer that way. I'm like, I hear you, but
these rappers, they're gonna go and spend $500,000 on some stupid chain that's not worth nothing anyway. So they're gonna get got. They're gonna keep getting got because that's what it is. So
yeah,
you know,
get it appraised, get your insurance, get your GIA certified, make sure you get all your paperwork.
Yeah.
Because they'd be overpaying for sure. Even when they're like same thing, 400 grand, 500 grand. I'm like, for them chains, no.
It's not even, no resale value. Fake diamonds half the time. Like I seen a video today, they said 70% of rappers got moissanite chains without, maybe they know, maybe they don't know, who knows?
Yeah.
But all of these jewelers, I don't trust the jeweler. They because they know that the people is ignorant. They know that they know that they could do whatever they want, and how you really going to know? Like even now, the lab diamonds test up real on the diamond test.
Absolutely. So
you don't know if you're buying a quote unquote real diamond or a fake diamond, because the fake diamond is actually a real diamond.
A diamond, yeah. And if we want to get down that path, the whole diamonds are girls' best friend and a store of value. Diamonds are some of the lowest rates they have been in the last 10 years, and De Beers made that a thing for that stone to be of a certain value.
100%. There's about 100. There's 100 element that's more valuable than diamonds. Diamonds are not rare
at all.
They were never valuable throughout human history. They just became valuable in the 20th century.
Yeah, last 100 years.
Marketing, and they hoard the diamonds to make them rare.
Yeah, it's an artificial market.
That goes back to the whole marketing of America with, yes, diamonds are a girl's best friend, but also engagement. This whole engagement wedding industry.
Oh, that's y'all want to talk about the Somali daycare? That's the real scam.
Diamonds are not valuable. Like gold has always been valuable since 5,000, 10,000 years ago. People have been trading gold. People were never trading diamonds. People never thought diamonds were valuable until a European came to Africa and had a brilliant idea to shut the whole resources down and hoard all of the diamonds and then trinkle it out and then put a major marketing campaign in Hollywood and tell Americans that when you get engaged to somebody, you have to put a diamond ring on their finger and tell them that diamonds are a girl's best friend, Tiffany's and all of this marketing. And now diamonds are so valuable, but diamonds are not worth anything. If in the history of mankind, this is a blimp when diamonds are actually valuable.
Absolutely. But do what you want. I know it looks good to shine and all that, but and like you said, if you ever go in harsh times and need to resell it, you're not gonna get anything for it.
No, not at all. But do what you want.
Yep.
Well, speaking of diamonds, let's show this clip from Speed. As far as not that clip, there's two clips with diamonds. We can show both actually, but there's one clip when he went to the village and he was about to the 17 cows. Let's show this clip, shall we?
Oh, that's your daughter?
Yes, my first daughter.
Oh.
You want to give me cows?
Huh?
You want to give me some cows?
Yeah.
So propose, and then do I come with your family? Then we negotiate.
She has to agree first.
Wait,
so you have to ask from her first. If she agrees, then you can come to the father, and then you can negotiate how many cows you can pay so that she becomes your wife.
How many cows do I have to give you so I can marry her?
17.
17 cows?
Yes.
How much are we looking at?
17 cows. How much is 17 cows?
Because a cow can cost 5,000 to 7,000, and Malangeni, our money is equivalent to the 5,000.
So 5 times 17, 5 times 17.
$250 a cow.
250
250 cows, $2,500.
$250 a cow?
Yeah. 20 cows for $5,000.
20 cows, 4 grand.
5 grand.
4,000.
Yeah. So you want 1 wife or 2 wives or 3 wives? 15K, you get 3.
I want 10.
10 wives. How many do we have here? 1, 2. You can only have 6 today.
6?
You can only have 6 today.
Yo, Chad, this is crazy, bro. Chad, this is insane. What the hell? This is crazy.
25K, 6 wives.
I'm gonna be in contact with them cows, okay?
You are welcome.
All right.
Shout out to Speed first and
Shout out to
foremost.
Speed.
man.
I like him.
Yeah, he doing a great job. So they thought that this was a joke. Like I said, we went to Kenya and they educated us that it was 10 cows. That was the dowry in Kenya. But I guess Estonia, I think he's in Estonia, Kingdom of Estonia. It's a small kingdom. You ever seen the guy, so he's the king. You probably seen this video on Instagram when he came to Abu Dhabi with 21 wives.
Yep.
That's where he's at right now.
Okay.
So the head of the village, I guess that was his daughter. And a dowry. So dowry is the offering that you give to the family before you get married. 17 cows. Now he said some vitally important things to listen. So it was like you ask her, she has to agree to it. So it's not like, oh, she has no right, because I saw that in the comments. That's so sad. She has no rights. They literally said you have to go to her first. She has to agree to it. And then it's something else key that the head of the village, he was like, okay, bring your families and we'll negotiate the dowry. And then, 17 cows.
You think he overpaying with the 17? Is
Premium.
there like a cow index? In
I think
Africa that we
he hit
can
him with
track?
the premium. He hit him with the premium. That's
'Cause it's
before negotiation. That's before negotiation.
Start high and work your way down.
Work your way down.
Yeah.
But I think, all right, all jokes aside though, right? This goes back to what I was talking about before as far as tradition. Just that little 30-second clip. You saw a tradition as far as, you go to her first. He said, okay, quickly, let's bring your family. I'm gonna bring our family. We're gonna negotiate the terms. Okay, this is the offering that you have to provide. All of that, like I always say, that goes back to having some level of tradition, culture, and social norms that have to be done customs. It wasn't just, yo, what's up? I like you. Let's go out on a date. I like, you know what I mean? Like, let's go to Vegas and let's elope. I'll tell our parents later after this is all done. We got a kid, 3 kids. My mom never even met you. Like, it's so much stuff, right? So I thought that was a pretty cool clip, like for people, because a lot of people they've never seen that before.
Never been exposed to that.
So I thought that was some good education. But what's your thoughts on it?
I really like what Speed is doing. Even in the next clip about Botswana and the diamond industry, I love in his own way how he's educating his audience. I just want to know if there's like a chart that we can trading view. Y'all got the dowry cow index per country available, just because just in case.
How many cows are you willing to give?
I don't know. I got to see the chart, and I got to see what the historical price were. So it just depends. Trading view, Charles Schwab, somebody. Oh, Vlad, put it up, Tenif. Put it Poly Market. Put that up. Let me know. How much is 2,000 a cow?
So that's the part, because I guess depending on where you are, the cows go for different prices, but that would be good to know too, because I don't think it's a standard price for a cow.
I know we're joking, but you have to know the price of everything you pay. Like I know Troy put it in the thing. Fabio got a chain that plays movies. Like at some point, we need to start having conversations with those in our culture about what should not be done.
I saw that.
Oh, it's $5K per cow.
$5K. But then you bring up the point: is it a Wagyu beef cow?
Yeah. Well, what's the quality of it?
Because some of these cows is like
malnourished.
They're like 80 pounds. Like they could barely make it. So is this the finest grade of beef that we can provide?
Yeah.
Because that might be more. That might be a higher level of price that you're paying.
Yeah.
$5K.
How many cows you willing to pay?
Yo, think about if it's $5K.
$5K at a prenup? That may not be a bad.
If you paying $5K, because people was all right. This once again,
it's either that or a push present. I just learned about that recently. What?
You just learned about the push present recently?
What?
You know about that?
I said, wait, y'all are getting what?
Because let's think about this rationally, right? Because some people will say like, "Damn, cows!" Like they laugh, like, no, but that goes back to there's different forms of currency.
See, yep.
If you're in the middle of the desert, water means more to you than $1,000.
Yeah,
a gallon of water would mean more because you'll die. So a gold bar means nothing in the middle of the desert when you're about to die of dehydration. Water is premium. So yeah, you can kind of laugh off the cow thing, but if your survival is based on farming, if a cow's going for $5,000, let's just say 10, right? That's 50K, right? Like, okay, it's not really that funny after a certain point in time, because it's like, let's say he's out for 14, that's 70,000. The vast majority of people that got married did not get $70,000
at all.
So y'all laughing,
but it's an investment into the family.
That's a fact. Like the vast majority of people got married for nothing.
And it's a good way for the father to know if you have capability of taking care of the daughter, at least on a financial front too.
100%.
So we may be the only culture that doesn't have any investment into the family and provides any security. Even a prenup conversation, because over the holidays I was subjected to hearing one of those conversations on the side. And maybe we can even play that clip about prenup for preserving generational wealth. But there have to be some kind of guarantees or some structure in how things can go. But yeah, I got to look at poly markets to see the historical pricing per cow.
Yeah. And I said 14, but he said 17 cows. So 17 is actually 85,000. So yeah, like I said, I mean, everything is a joke until it's not funny anymore. So you realized, damn, the tribe, I got married for nothing. And the tribe, they got 85 bands on the come up. Maybe what we're doing isn't working.
Yeah, our system is reversed.
By like you said, it speaks to a level of commitment, right? If you're serious.
No, go ahead. When y'all clip this up, zoom in on him. If you're serious, what? Investor die.
Investor die.
Can we play this clip about prenups are just for marriage? They're crucial for estate planning.
Let's do it.
I thought this was fascinating.
You don't have a prenup, you don't take under the will. First, all my children are married. All my children have prenups. In my estate, it works like this. If you don't have a prenup, you don't take under the will.
Bingo.
So I become the bad guy. And every time I tell people this, I don't know how old your kids are, you will remember this, believe me. So you don't want your kid to have to be the bad guy. You're the bad guy. So my kids can say, hey, my dad's my dad. Now, if you don't want to sign it, we're not getting shit.
That's right.
And so that's the first thing. The prenups are fairly tough.
Okay.
Like, you know, one lawyer said this is the most egregious document I've ever read.
Egregious.
Egregious.
I'm sure you took it as a compliment.
I said by design.
By design.
And so, but listen, all of the daughter-in-laws, the son-in-law, I love these folks, but I'm not going to have a situation where somebody can come in and, you know, my one son, Matt, said, because he was the first one, he's like, well, Daddy, maybe I put a clause in there that if I cheat on my wife, that is a null and void. I go, no, because We don't need to have any litigation. He goes, well, I'm not going to cheat. I said, I know you're not, you know. But he asked that question. I said, let's just get the document signed. So I did that years ago in 2008. I had everything appraised, and I gave the big gift to him where you could give up to like 24, 25 million. So I did that. I built a company called Litify, which was a software company. And what I did with that, I took Litify and I just put it all, I put 20%, each one of my children, 20% for me. We sold it to Bessemer at a $600 million valuation. We took 60%, but when we sold it, all my kids got the money. God. And then I used my 20% to toggle off and pay the taxes. So they took it tax-free. But I have been that question has been in my mind, you know, even when I didn't have it. In our will, when we die, if our kids have $100 million, they get nothing. They're going to get, if they have 100, they're going to get 100 million, they get nothing. We have an estate, a foundation that we hope to have, a $1 billion foundation, and all of my money is going into the foundation. And so, but some of my kids are already past the 100 million. I mean, some of them are already, they're done. And they're going to make a lot of money.
Interesting perspective. You don't really hear a lot of times when people talk about prenups, they usually talk about it for themselves.
Yeah.
But you don't really hear it from a parent kind of demanding that their kid get a prenup, or else they're left out the will. And you could already know once he said that thing about the son said, well, Dad, what if I cheat? You know where that came from.
Oh yeah. Her friends.
That came from her. That came from
her.
Her
camp and her friends.
Because ain't no man in the right mind going to sit up there and tell his father, hey, Dad, what if I cheat? Can you null and void? I would have slapped the shit out of him so bad, man. Like, look, that's his wife telling him, look, tell your father that I want a provision that if you cheat, this needs to be null and void. Is Dad like, no? I'm not doing that.
Y'all think Andrew has some arms? I'll tell my dad that, boy, he gonna shoot a missile at me. What? Shout out to Ty for sending me this clip. This is amazing. But when you're doing generational planning and estate planning, these are some of the things you have to worry about. And if they know that your family is well-to-do, if that provision is in there, she will get together with her friends at brunch and they'll find the girl who they know that you'll be weak for and pay her to get it so they can get the cash out.
Well, this is the House of Gucci. Once again, I hope everybody watched that movie. That's exactly what the House of Gucci is about, where the son was going to marry his wife, and the father didn't like the wife and wanted to he wrote him out of the will because of that. They later reconciled it, but he turned out to be right, actually. He actually turned out to be right.
You got to listen. When they get them little inklings of something not being right, oh, it's love. Okay. You don't know. So
this goes to a deeper question as far as the financial planning aspect. Is that something that you would do?
Of course. I didn't work I got to think of it like this. My father worked his entire life and gave me everything that he knew about business. Then my mother and grandmother did the same, passed it to me. I built this empire, and then I should let that net worth go because Xander made a mistake for a girl he thought was cute.
So
it sounds harsh, but
what do you do? Do you have to approve of the wife?
No, he can pick, but just that provision about
the prenup.
The prenup mandatory.
So you're not gonna have to like say, okay, I have to approve of who you marry.
No. Because that's a mistake when parents do that, because you actually push them more to the person that you're rebelling against. Let them. I'll be like, hey, I don't think so, but if that's what you want to do, cool. But paperwork wise, legacy wise, when distributions happen, it may have an impact, and it may sound harsh, but just like we worked hard to build this, you have builders and takers. There's a cohort of people who just plan to take away. Zion, I love you. You have to learn. They're trying to take from you, my brother. It's a whole faction of them little girls. Some of them out here in Houston. You're on that radar list for who they can get money out of. That sucker list that girls have in them group chat when they be like, oh, like if all of a sudden your DMs get hella popping and it's like 40 girls a week, they know you one of them ones. So as a builder, you have to be careful to stay away from the takers and be able to tell who wants to take away from you.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, let's do this. Let's go into a new segment. This is actually Troy's idea of the wildest ish that we've seen this week. And we actually just mentioned it. For me, it's the Fabio Foreign chain. If we could play this video, if we could play that video.
That's icy. Heavy, real speakers. Come on. Come on.
So Fabio Foreign decided to have a chain made that actually plays movie, because his thing is Mr. Viral, make a movie. So he got so bored he made a pendant that actually is like a movie player. I don't know how the electronics on it works. I'm not sure how you actually program the programming that's going to actually be shown, but
yeah,
man, that's the wildest that I've seen this week. And he's not the first one. I remember Cameron had a remote control chain at some point. But yeah, it's yeah.
Can we get a line on Fabio so we can help? Because I don't want to just criticize it.
No. Well, shout out to him. First and foremost, I commend him from he's checked himself in the rehab.
Oh, did he? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so he checked himself in the rehab. He put that on Instagram. So first and foremost, that's very commendable, and I hope that he's able to get himself clean and get himself together for himself and his family. So shout out to him for taking the initiative to actually get sober. But this is why I don't like jewelers, because it's like the Gucci Man thing, right? Like when Gucci Man went to get the ice cream tattoo, his jewelers, his tattoo artist started crying. It was like, even Mike Tyson, when he wanted to get
the
flowers on his face,
yeah.
the tattoo artist refused to do it and said, no, I'm gonna do a tribal tattoo, because somebody's not in their right mind when they doing shit like that. And that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that he's had financial issues.
You're taking advantage of.
But he spoke about his financial issues. Fabio Foreign. He spoke about how he spoke about making bad financial decisions. And that he's suffering from addiction. And you don't care anything about that. Like you supposed to be like, even as a person that has some level of
empathy
and like craftsman, like you take pride in your craft. Like, I'm not, it's a disrespect. Like, it's like you go to a 5-star restaurant. If you ask for a well done steak, the chef is gonna say no.
Yeah,
you can't just get whatever you want.
Yeah.
But you don't care as long as you can make money. And I'm pretty sure they upcharged them for that.
For sure. And it's not like, and I know some people say, well, bigger jewelry companies will do the same. Sometimes when you go into these places, though, the item's not even available. There's a wait list. There are some measures in place to prevent some of these things from happening. But yeah, that is kind of wild. But prayers to him, and I hope his rehab journey. And also, too, I know a lot of people may think, well, he's a rapper, he just needs financial literacy. We don't talk enough about the music industry as a whole, who preys upon people who come from these situations, who take advantage of their lack of knowledge in business, that then they end up in a bad situation financially, which leads to the alcoholism and drug use. To be as lit as he was, like, I'm just thinking of how many units he may have moved of a single and how valuable that is. Like, Trax will probably make $5 or $6 million this year off that video. Fabio's way bigger than Trax. It makes no sense that he's having financial hardship, but the music industry is designed like that, unfortunately. So
yeah, it's an unfortunate situation, but yeah, that's ill-advised.
Yeah.
What's the wildest thing you've seen?
You seen a baseball player's girlfriend crash out and cry because everybody sent him the OnlyFans link that she lied about?
And by the way, they asked me to clear up something.
What?
That's my bank account that shit subscribed to.
Oh yeah, cause come on, y'all already know I be scamming on my shit. Why y'all
that shit go straight into my
Why y'all
account.
trying to play with my man and act like I'm an OnlyFans girl?
Hey, that's my account. Y'all stupid as hell.
Come on, y'all. Y'all know Annalise, y'all know Anna Mac.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. That's how I know I got a real one. Y'all subscribe? They go to me.
And he also knew about it.
My shorty, make sure I get bread. Hello.
We in Finland, bitch. Your ass broke his head on Twitter, bitch. What is you talking about? But yeah, I'm going to definitely stream my wedding. You guys, I'm so nervous, but I have hella time to plan.
Someone said my PR team gonna be working overtime. Too bad I'm my own PR team.
You know what I also told them? Like, I don't even care if we're engaged for 4, 5, 7, 3, 4, 8, 9 years. Whenever we get married is when we get married. I just know we're going to be together forever. So I'm definitely planning. But definitely trying to aim for the end of next year or summertime. Baby, what's wrong with you?
You said 4, 5, 6,
Why are you
7,
in the
8,
back?
9, what the hell? You singing a new song or something?
Why is you back there making them faces?
Because you talking all them goddamn numbers, goddamn it. What the hell?
Because even if we don't walk down the aisle, I'm a fiancita.
If we don't walk down the aisle, we going to the goddamn court. Get that shit done quick.
Y'all, he crazy. But yeah, you want to wrap this up?
Me?
You want to do it?
I mean, my thing with that is,
I'm like you.
It wasn't a secret. Like he had to know you was on OnlyFans.
I don't think he did, bro. When he came out with the lie talking about, yo, she give me half the money. What you need half for $3,000 a month for, and you in the MLB and cooking too.
She gave him half the money for what?
That's what he said after allegations came out.
Half the money, half what half rent money?
Half of her earnings from OF.
Oh, he gave, so he knew she was on OF then.
I think that's the cover.
Oh, that's the cover up?
So, but peace and blessings to, like, baby girl, it works. It worked. It worked for you. Some of y'all be on that list and they know certain shit they can get off.
And some of y'all is on Instagram doing what they doing on OnlyFans.
Big and them close friends.
Or public profiles.
For sure. Yep.
So it's like, you know, but yeah, OnlyFans will get you. That'll get you every time. How you feel about the Saudi Arabia? So Saudi Arabia opened up is going to open up their markets, trading markets, stock market to outside investors for the first time ever. And then this follows a long list of things that Saudi Arabia has done. Now you can buy property in Saudi Arabia. You can start a business in Saudi Arabia now. If you have another, I think you have to have a Saudi partner, but they've opened up the economy to foreigners. They've always had a closed economy forever. But MBS, this is one of his initiatives to open up to outside investors. And like I said, it's from business to real estate. And now the newest thing is that they've opened up their access to the stock market.
Stock market, yeah.
What's your thoughts on this?
A lot of people sent me this. I know they were blowing you up, sending you this too. Will there be opportunity there? Yes. On the stock market, is it there currently? Not yet. But I do think diversification into other countries is really important. We talked about that a lot last year, but also too, as America is on its descent, it's very smart for Saudi and UAE to start to pillage some of that money away. And it's the playbook that America ran in previous years. What's really been interesting is that the Venezuelan market has been up since the capture of Maduro and his wife, and also how much the Tel Aviv stock market has been up the last 2 years. Tel Aviv stock market's been up 500% the last 2 years. So my tip for you is to always look to international places to get an edge. Europe outperformed the US last year. So if you're looking for gains, yes, look international, but I think this is too soon to be investing into that market without having an edge in it so far. But what do you think? Business-wise, though, I think we should. I think everyone should. If you have an idea that will work over there, though.
Yeah, I think the first thing people should do is really invest in the stock market that they have in America.
Yep.
Because it's a lot of great companies and there's a lot of opportunities to make money. Because people is like it went viral. The post went viral.
Post went crazy. I probably have 40 people send me this in like 2 hours.
Like the vast majority of you guys have never even invested in
VO. Which one's about that? Kill me for that. Yo, you have new listeners who may not know. You're right. I was tired. VOO, VTI, Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA. We told you a whole list of stocks to invest in, but start here.
Yeah. Start there. Speaking of Venezuela, let's play this clip about how it was kind of highly suspicious with this whole situation that's happened. Interesting perspective.
It just doesn't pass a smell test. How do you do a 28-minute mission with a guy who has 100 bodyguards, another 100 perimeter security, and anti-aircraft gun emplacements, local police blocking the roads? Why wasn't he in a safe room? Full-scale lockdown nuclear-capable bunker that the Russians had built for him. He had Cuban bodyguards. Was he segregated from them and locked away by his own personal minister of defense or minister of the interior? They said he was in his bed. Look. He wasn't in his bed. Desert storms going on outside your window. You're not sleeping. He has Russian and Cuban trained intelligence people. Those guys will flood into that room, grab you the way like Trump did when they had the assassination attempt. They will bundle you into that safe room. They will set a perimeter and they will do battle there. I think a lot of this is made up. It leads me to believe that this deal that we had with Venezuela, he was already packaged and waiting in an armchair, zip-tied, taken into custody by his Minister of the Interior or his Minister of Defense. The opposition said it was a negotiated transfer. Well, the opposition could be his Minister of Defense because nothing in the Venezuelan Ministry of Defense did anything, almost like they were stood down. The Minister of the Interior is considered far more brutal. He controls the 500,000 paramilitary militia. And then you have the Minister of Defense, Vladimir Pedrino Lopez. He controls 100,000 people with weapons, including surface-to-air missiles that they didn't distribute or even try to fire at the Americans. Nothing has changed on the ground. They have wrapped this in a law enforcement operation. This template came from Manuel Noriega in 1989 in Panama. And he was a real drug trafficker. So was the president of Honduras, who moved 500 tons of cocaine into the United States, whom Trump just pardoned, who said he would like to see Americans brush their teeth in cocaine, using the armed forces as law enforcement, has no legal precedence whatsoever. The moment, according to the Geneva Convention in 1949, the first shot was fired from a U.S. warship. The state of war between Venezuela and the United States is recognized even if one party does not acknowledge it. Trump is going to declare that the war on drugs is over. Donald Trump is a pathological liar. He is the single most documented liar in American history. That is a fact. And the whole basis of all of this is they're going to kick 900,000 Venezuelans out of the United States now because he's removing their special residency. And here's the kicker. He's sending them back to the same country, same regime that they fled from out of fear.
Yeah, you know, everything that the guy said is pretty much what I've been thinking for the week now. How is it possible to abduct a president and nobody got hurt? Nobody. They said one person got shot. They said they caught him and he was in bed.
They said up to 80 people were potentially injured. So
it doesn't.
Something doesn't.
They said, well, they're on the American side. They said nobody got killed on the American.
Oh, on the American side, yeah.
They said one person got. I think 2 people got hit, but nobody got killed.
Yeah. And put that shit right on blockchain for that.
And all right, so this is a few different things that's happening. How it was so easy to just abduct the president in his house is mind-boggling, and his safe house at that is mind-boggling. How no American got hurt severely, that's interesting. How it happened so quickly is interesting. But even outside of that, how the transition has happened. Once again, there's opposition in Venezuela. The lady, she's living abroad right now. She won the Nobel Peace Prize. She's the one that gave the Nobel Peace Prize to Trump. She's the one that said, as soon as she gets into power, she's pretty much going to just give the oil to all of these companies. They're going to do whatever they want. And she's made a bunch of different things. She's appealed to every Western demand. She said they're going to move their embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. She's done everything that she needed to do to try to appease MAGA
and stay alive.
And they said that she won 75% of the election the last time. So the interesting thing is that you take over a country because you're saying that it's been mismanaged, misrun, narco-terrorist state, supports terrorism, the whole thing, the whole regime. But you don't change anything. You literally just prop up the vice president. You say that the opposition person has no support in Venezuela, so you're not going to support her, and it's business as usual. Like you're just working with the same exact infrastructure. Like nothing has changed. You didn't change the defense minister, you didn't change the court system, you didn't change the head of the army, you didn't change. Like you just took out one person, left the whole entire infrastructure the same, and said, okay, we're just gonna run this play with home team.
The same way they did when John F. Kennedy got killed.
Who's they?
I don't. Come on, man. First thing when this happened, my first thought was who on the inside gave them the intel. Kudos to Delta Force and SEAL Team 6 and strategically like blacking out the city. Like some of that was like prime strategic planning on a military side. But even in these kind of coups and wars, there's an inside person that has been frustrated or jealous that gave intel away. This is way above my pay grade, and I'll have Olivia Pope's dad to call in case. So I want to skate lightly on this, but these war games are being played all over the country, and even the installation of democracy across the world in Iraq. A lot of these things have been a farce, and this is the plan all along, is to take over assets. And the first thing I text our group chat was, well, isn't it interesting at a time when our debt to GDP is the highest it's ever been, and then polling may not be favorable for certain parties coming up this year and in 2 more years or 3 more years to get assets under control when they were potentially about to do something with BRICS to balance the books. The war games is all about money. It's never about regime change. Let's install a president or a person who we know we can have control over, who is also fearful of their life. I know the Venezuelans have been celebrating, but they also celebrated when Gaddafi died. The Libyans celebrated. It doesn't mean that the takeover was right. Some people in that weapons of mass destruction thing celebrated. It doesn't mean it was right. And it's funny, like if you watch Power, depending on what team you're on, Kanan or Ghost is the villain, depending on where you sit. It's interesting that America makes every dictator an evil villain when we've committed the most atrocities amongst the world in the last 100 years. So, but this has always been the plan. And it won't be the last. They're openly talking about Greenland, a lot of conversations about Colombia. But it's very interesting times that we're living in. This is the same playbook that's been ran since 2000.
Yeah, it's weird. That's been a very weird series of events that's happened in Colombia. And then within not even a full week, they've already worked out a deal to send 50 million barrels of oil to America. That's the first phase. Like, there's just a lot. It just seems like this was already premeditated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Shout out to everybody in Langley that I know. Just protect me, please. Top level war games, yo.
But what about Greenland? That's the next thing. They said that Trump said we got to have Greenland. You know, for me personally, it's crazy because it's like, all right, America, they can come to Venezuela, do whatever they want, and all of the European countries is just like, yeah, we're just going to stay out of it. You know, they go to Africa, they carve it up. But as soon as they touch Greenland, and it's like, no, the buck stops here. How could you do this? This is going to. And me personally, I feel like, I don't know if I'm wrong for feeling like this, but it don't feel as bad when they take it from the Europeans. it don't really hit the same for me. Like,
yeah, of course, yeah.
Now, granted, they took because Greenland does have indigenous people. So the fact that the Netherlands or what's the country?
Greenland?
No. Who owns Greenland? Who's in control of Greenland?
Oh, I don't know. World Economic Forum?
No. Denmark.
Denmark.
The fact that Denmark, the kingdom of Denmark, I don't even know who even knew Denmark had a kingdom. But the fact that Denmark has rights to Greenland. Why does Denmark have rights to Greenland? Like, I'm not all the way down about this. What gave Denmark the rights to kingdom, that to Greenland? That's just some colonizer shit. And they just like, no, we have to respect Denmark's sovereignty over Greenland. Like, no, it's not. Denmark has nothing to do with Greenland.
We have nothing to do with the Gulf of America, but we took that too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It don't hit the same for me when they robbing the Europeans.
Yeah, but an atrocity committed elsewhere that doesn't affect us will eventually affect us. That's my point with Palantir. Just because those issues are happening there, that is the beta testing before it's used on us. So I get the sentiment 1,000%, but we still have to be cautious of what can happen. Because if they get Greenland, they're going to go on a tear. They're going to definitely go in Nigeria.
I'm not mad at the Greenland play. I'll be honest with you. I'm not mad at the Greenland. I'm not mad at the Greenland annexation because why the hell is Denmark? If
why do we have Guam and Hawaii then? Puerto Rico.
Well, so those was annexed from native people. This has already been annexed. The native situation, it's not like Greenland's a sovereign nation of native. They've already flooded it, and it's unfortunate. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but they've already done what they've done with Greenland. It's already been done, and they've already done the whole, colonization European thing to it. So, if you're going to steal from somebody, you might as well steal from a European because they don't have what. Like I said, why the hell does Denmark have rights to Greenland?
Somebody put it in chat. We need to call Mark Lamont Hill. I know you know the answer.
Like Trump, I need that. I need it. I need it. I need that, man. And I'm not mad at him for this one.
And not to piggyback because you got on the MAGA red. One thing Trump did do really well, or is proposing, I know this RFK thing, but take an injection schedule for kids from 72 down to 11. I'm for that. I am for that. What do you think about the proposal that we have the injection schedule is too high for children now?
I'm not a medical doctor, so I don't want to speak on this situation because it's a very sensitive topic. But you
had a Pfizer meeting today. Gotcha.
Look, I don't trust America's medical system. So I'm very leery about a lot of the things that happens. I mean, look at the food. We talk about this in depth. Our food system is terrible. So I mean, seems like overkill to me.
No pun intended.
Facts.
No pun intended.
Facts. Yeah. Facts. Yeah. So they said Denmark owns Greenland due to centuries of colonization, starting with the Danish, Norwegian missionary hands. 1917 solidified Danish claim. Yeah, so they don't own. They colonized. They took it over. They did the whole missionary play. So, but the audacity of them to just think no, this is ours. Denmark, no, get lost, kick rocks. And they yo, if you take over this is gonna destroy NATO. That's why I said Trump. He's not always wrong in everything that he says. There is no NATO without America. Sometimes in life, what's the point of being a superpower if you're not that's what Marco Rubio said. What's the point of having power if you don't use it?
Yeah, but you got to wield it properly so that the other powers that are coming up don't use their force against you.
Get down and lay down. The thing that I like about
we'll lay down to China.
Huh?
We'll lay down to China.
Well, China's a different animal altogether. But I'm talking about these European countries have no power at all. So stop being nice. I respect Trump from that standpoint. We've been acting like these European countries are equal to us, and they're not. No, like you get treated like a little puppy because that's who you are. You don't have the military might of America. You don't have the economic might of America. You don't have the cultural influence of America. So why am I treating you like an equal? We're not equal here.
You don't think that we're stretching ourselves too thin?
100%, but sometimes you gotta, smack people around a little bit to set the, like, regardless of how you feel about Trump, he's setting a tone. People are very afraid.
Inferior countries are afraid. But Russia and China not afraid.
Russia, I think, only matters because they have nuclear weapons. But let's be honest, Russia is not really a superpower. China's a different situation.
Especially when they all-star team and click together. They're doing
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Russia has done a good job of maintaining their relevance. Like I said, they have more nuclear weapons, I think, than anybody. And they have a leader that is actually a very skilled politician in Vladimir Putin. But in the grand scheme, Russia's economy is nothing. They don't Russia is not really a superpower.
No.
But China is a different.
But if you have a protection of a superpower, once again, going back to that Trax point, you have to know which line then you can walk into and beat your chest. We can do it to Venezuela and maybe Colombia. But once we get across the water, China, Russia, India in combination, that's tough.
And keep in mind, this whole global imperialism thing is nothing new. It's just now we have social media, so we get to see it happen in real time. And we have somebody that's just like previously, whether it was Bush or they would make up, lies and kind of make a story about it. Trump is just telling you the truth. Like, look, I'm going to Venezuela and I'm taking the oil.
Mm-hmm.
But that's been happening though.
It's been happening since the beginning of the time.
Since the beginning of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But where does this stop? Because Venezuela, okay, that's done. He said he's going to do Greenland. He's going Cuba is on the radar. Colombia is on the radar. He even Mexico, I don't think that's crazy. That's crazy.
He won't.
Now that's crazy. Now that's really crazy. Now he's just a madman. Like,
if I'm Andreessen Horowitz, would I invade Stripe if I invested money in the Stripe?
No.
So.
Well, yeah, but where does he stop?
He won't until he get out of office. But he's going to avoid China.
Well, no, China, you can't.
Yeah, the bully is going to bully everybody that they can. He's a bully that won't face everyone. He's a bully that's going to intimidate the ones he can beat. But also, too, we got to look at the debt to GDP ratio of the nation. It's a reason why they are looking to, and once again, I said it on Monday, but not just the oil, the silver, Bitcoin. I brought that up, and now they're starting to matriculate to the news. It's a seizure. And also, for some of y'all who betted on Venezuela being attacked, I found it interesting that some of those prediction marketplaces wouldn't pay it out.
They wouldn't pay it out?
They said it wasn't a invasion.
It wasn't. I guess it wasn't. It was an abduction.
Interesting. Language is very interesting. So,
but I think that's one of the reasons why he doesn't want a regime change either, because he doesn't want to put boots on the ground. And they do have an army. They do have 100,000, missionaries. So it's not going to just be easy just to.
No, it's not going to be an easy fight.
So,
No, it won't be an easy fight.
So it's easier to just keep the same exact regime and just work with them and say, look, now I'm serious. I took the president out, so you better do what I say, as opposed to trying to put a total new regime in place.
War. Yep. Install the person that we can control or have influence over. Get our VIG off of that. Call it a day. That's why studying history is so fascinating. They make it seem boring. Everything that America makes to look boring is the most fascinating and most profitable shit in the world.
And now with the crazy thing with like, everybody that was celebrating, nothing is changing. Except America's gonna like people really thought like this was the liberation of the country. Like, oh yes, thank you. Like we've changed. Like now we can actually have our freedom. You're going to have the same exact political system that you had. The only difference is that now America is going to be getting your oil.
Yeah,
nothing is going to change.
Nothing's going to change.
You thought that you was going to get you thought this was done to usher in a new political regime?
No. The political regime doesn't work here. So Ed Bernays has to be clapping from heaven or hell wherever he landed, seeing all this propaganda fly around, all this installation of democracy. I'm like, we're a fucking republic. We have a veneer of democracy. There's no democracy, even in the election machines. And that's the first algorithm.
What?
The election machines of 2000. Remember when the paper ballots ended up in the alligator swamps in Florida?
That's a fact. That's a
right
fact.
after that. The most fascinating companies like that run the world are never like the Electoral College. It's talked about, but no one ever. Who runs the Electoral College? We won't talk about it today. People think this is like an online algorithm entity. It's like, no, this is a real organization. Talking about the program, EC. Oh my God. Yep.
Merry Christmas to all the Orthodox Christians. This is Ethiopia, Eritrea. They celebrate Christmas today.
I mean, this date of Christmas is closer to the one that we celebrate. The real New Year. I put this on TikTok 2-3 years. A real New Year, not in January.
Nope.
But
well, what can you do?
But if I want to program a people, how about I give you the wrong dates to celebrate certain shit that won't be in alignment with the universe? And then I can control the world through those said dates. But what do I know?
What do I know? Let's talk about this this clip that's been going viral on social media about that these people founded it. They're founders of company, and they made a whole thesis around $10 million being their exit number.
This is fascinating.
Yeah. So they gave a whole breakdown. They said, look, not 100 million, not $1 billion, not change the world scale, 10 million in liquidity. And their formula for that was that 10 million in liquidity, 5% invested, 5% annual conservative return gives $500,000 a year in interest. Without touching the principal. They have 5 people in their family. That means that's like $100,000 for each person, without touching interest, without working. They said that they don't need private jets. They don't need to be on the Forbes list. They just need their kids not to feel financial pressure. So they can feel like they can do what they want to do in life without having financial pressure. That $100,000.
They have 5 kids,
I guess. Or
y'all deserve an award.
Either 5 kids or maybe 3 kids and
yeah.
But they said that they've invested. They started 24 startups, so they have a 71% chance of actually making it. Because they said that if you invested in if you have one startup, there's a 5% chance of actually
it's tough
having a $10 million exit. But they said that 24, they calculated that they have a 71% chance of having that $10 million exit. And yeah, they gave a whole diatribe about how $10 million is the actual number.
Before we get to the number and if it's enough, I would love to see how they have the bandwidth to manage 24 companies. Even with AI agents and LLMs, it's tough to have enough compute to run all the tasks that you need, even with virtual assistants. I would want to see how they structured that framework out. I like this is a portfolio strategy. I like the strategy. I just wonder how they are going to manage it. But to the 10 million number, do you think by the time they get to that number, let's say it takes 6 years, will that be enough? My favorite thing to study is how at any time, any inflection point of African Americans hitting these milestones, inflation ramps up so crazy that the goal is no longer the goal. It happened in real estate when redlining happened. It happened in the 1980s when there was a little bit of surge, and then the crack epidemic came. And the 2000s inflation post 2005 creeped up, and then COVID. Everyone learned about Turo and Airbnb and stock market and real estate and pre-IPO and angel, and they moved that goalpost another 200 yards away. So, and let's be real, most people, if they make 10, they're not putting all 10 of it into the market.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think there's a few things. I'm glad that I'm happy that they made the post, because it's
the
definitely
post is great.
Thought-provoking conversation. But I think what they might have not fully thought about is inflation, because it's like you said,
they're gonna print some money.
Even after 5 years, right? 500,000, 100,000 per person. It's not the same anymore. And indefinitely, that's definitely not going to be the same. The value of the money goes down over the course of time. So that's something to consider. Like you said, even if they get 10 million, you're going to put exactly 10 million. Like no other dollar is going to go anywhere else, right? That's something to consider. Yeah.
And who are you exiting to? Because if you're going to do 24, 2 of them have to be cash flow positive that you don't sell to keep okay in case. Even in light of Trump saying DEI is dead, even the VCs that were pro-black stepped away from blackness. Who are you exiting to?
Yeah. And you got to exit for 18 to get 10. Net 10 after taxes. You got to take taxes into consideration. Yeah, it's a good idea in theory.
It's a great idea
in theory.
I think the exit number needs to be higher though, in order for it to work.
Yeah,
but I would love to have them on to interview them about how they're making it, because that's the real conversation. Like if you have the right tools and resources to manage 24, you can scale to 100 in 2 or 3 years with the right compute. You're gonna need some data centers and some fucking oil. But if you can get 24 to have some sort of automation to them, and the truth is, like, I know it's tough, but you only really need one great idea. And I would want to know if they're 24 separate. Is it B2B? Is it enterprise? Is it business to government? Is it consumer? Or is it all focused in one lane as well? So, but great idea for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, no, shout out to them. But put in chat, is 10 million something that you feel comfortable exiting? If you started a business, are you willing to just have a goal to sell the business for $10 million? Would that be your goal?
Magic told you got 3 years. And if they get the interest rates down, the crazy part is, like, and even Elon was saying that there's going to be a lot of unrest, and politically and financially. My greatest fear is that even if that number is hit, like $1 million isn't what it used to be anymore. Like back in the day, if you had $1 million, it was like you were set for life. Average home cost $200,000. Average car was $10,000 to $15,000. College was probably $10,000 to $15,000. There's a luxury market for everything now. Like, just, we talked about it. You may pay $25,000 a year in healthcare costs. Tough. So that's why investing in other countries and finding a place where that isn't inflated too much is really key. Like, the American dream shouldn't be to leave, but like y'all said in the book, the American dream is a nightmare right now. You know it because how hard they're working. Chamath invested in Grok, which sold off for billions, and he's trying to find the next project to fund to offset the loss in taxes there. It's crazy. It's one of the biggest exits in history, and he's trying to find the new thing. 20 years ago, that would have been done. I'm done. I'm going to the beach forever. On to the next thing.
Let me ask you this: as far as relationships, is it better? Is it more because a big thing with relationships is geography, where somebody lives. Is it better to try to find somebody close to where you live to build a relationship, or find somebody that's far away and do the long distance thing until they come and like have them come live with you?
I don't know. I've done both. I don't know. I'm not skating it to give it to you. I would like to know your thoughts. I think both ways have their pros and cons. But I don't know if there's like a cookie cutter formula. Because as an entrepreneur, having someone that you love be away gives you room to breathe, but then so you can work as much as you want to. So that isn't a friction point. But also too, then missing them is an issue. So what do you think is best?
It's interesting conversation, because I also think it also comes down to finances a lot of times too, because when you're just kind of just getting by, just struggling,
you can't afford. Yeah,
you kind of you're forced to deal with what's in front of you as far as geographic.
Yeah, you got 20-mile radius.
Yeah. You said 20 miles?
Maybe 20.
I was gonna say, man, that might be too much. Maybe
15?
Like 5.
10? Wow. Yeah.
They say the average person never moves 5 miles out of where they actually grew up in. And it's no surprise that the average person actually ends up being with somebody that's from the same town that they're from.
Yeah.
Because the availability, even like you living in New York, right? Like, yeah, okay, like you living in the Bronx, you're not just going to Queens every day.
Yeah.
Most people, there's people in New York City, there's people in East New York, Brooklyn that's never been to Manhattan before.
Growing up in East Chicago, there's some people who I knew when we graduated high school never been to Chicago. And it's
like there's literally like there's people in Queens that's never been to the Bronx ever. Never. So geography plays a big part in relationships. So it's okay, pros and cons. The pros is that they're close to you, right? So you can, you can see them every day. You build a bond quicker when you're in close proximity.
And they can get on your nerves more often too.
100%. The downside is that you're still limited. Like, because what if you're in a situation where nobody there is like who you really want to be with?
That
you're in a small town in Utah, right? For whatever reason, you just lived there, and now you just stuck with the people that you're in your small town with. Kind of screwed in a sense. So you could do the long distance thing. To me, the long distance thing is not really sustainable for a long period of time.
Yeah.
You would now, when money comes into play, is this is what a lot of people have done. They meet somebody from a total different part of the country or a total different part of the world.
Yep.
Establish a relationship and then move that person either to live with them. They moved them to live with them, or they moved them close by in close proximity, and now they set up a life for them there.
Yeah.
But of course, that comes with resources to actually be able, and it's not even just like the passport bro situation. I'm just talking about just like in general, like you just
intercontinental.
You meet somebody that you connect with. You from New York, they from LA, but you really vibing. Yo, you know what? Yo, just let's try this out. Come to New York.
Come Inglewood.
Just to even be able to do that, though, you gotta have some level of financial.
It takes some money.
Security. But it opens up way more opportunities to you because now the whole world is your playing field.
That's true.
But it's more invested.
Yeah, you're gonna pay for one of them cows through proxy, through Expedia.
100%.
For sure. Both have pros and cons, but also too, for the men who are looking to do that, you still have to be disciplined in the selection of that because you have a lot to lose and a lot to risk. You got to be careful. I know some of y'all be like, yo, I want to get the bag so I can just run around, be a bachelor and a male whore and Zion. Like the crazy part is, and I pray this doesn't happen, but for some of them athletes who live that life, the leagues are trying to keep their image so clean. If you're involved in any debauchery, any fuckery, they're going to push you out the league. They're going to mess your bag up. Like Shout out to all the players. Like, you have to live, and even for the conversation of why do all these athletes date the same girl? Well, they get the lifestyle, so they're not going to put them on the blog. Zion's moving in such a way, and I'm only saying this because I've talked to people that are agents. They're like, after this one, and if that weight isn't under control, and him and Luka don't get on that same bound that was on the summer allegedly, he's going to have a tough time finding a home for as talented as he is, because they don't want the distraction that comes with that while they're under an investigation for the betting thing. This is billions of dollars on the line. And when you are in association with a league that is so vital to the economy and the GDP of America, you can't have any mess ups. This isn't when the NBA was lower in the ratings in the 1980s and early 70s. This is really big business. So you got to keep a clean face. So even if you get the bag, you have to be mindful of who you are dating and who you import to be close to you. That's a fact. That's a fact. But the import play is important. It's not a bad situation. You know, the import play, I personally know a variety of different people that have married. Like, they met somebody from a different country or different, and it's getting really popular. And then they can't. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. Shout out. But yeah, one just got Yeah. Well played. Because you skipped the bullshit. Because you skipped the bullshit. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yep. Not tainted. No. Mm-hmm. Gonna do a case study one day. That's right. Age bracket. Mm-hmm. That's been tainted by the world. Yep. That's a fact. Well, how y'all feel about? And then there's another thing that this happens a lot too, and I've noticed this countries and regions where girls and guys, they be like, I'm not dating. I don't want to be with nobody from where I'm from. For instance, let's say that somebody could be Ethiopian, right? Like a girl, she might be like, yo, I don't want to date any Ethiopian guys. I've seen that. Or somebody could be in America. They could be like, yo, I'm from LA, but I don't want to deal with no LA dudes. Yeah. That happens a lot. A lot, bro. More, yeah. Yep. Why do you think that is? I don't want the business to be out there. And I'm talking city-wise, because culturally or racially, I'm not talking about. But city-wise, it could be even though they're big cities, the communities are small in that dating pool. Like LA, Chicago, Miami, we're a good out fast, yo. So I think a lot of it is to have a newness and not to have other people taint your reputation or perception. It happens here in Houston. A lot of girls are like, I don't want to deal with nobody who in the city, because it's too mixy. So, but yeah, choose wisely. Choose wisely. Somali, or before we go to the Somali daycare center, secret bank accounts. How do you feel about secret bank accounts? I guess there was a post online that went viral because a woman revealed that her hardworking man had got her car fixed, but then got angry when he found out that she had $10,000. So, if you're in a relationship with somebody, should you know all of their bank accounts? Wait, what? So he worked to pay her car off, or what? I think he got her car. He didn't know that she had money. I guess he thought that she didn't have no money, so it's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna fix your car. I'm gonna do all that. But then I guess he found out that she actually had $10,000 in the stash. Mm-hmm. She didn't tell him about it. Oh, and that's okay. I mean, well, if you chose to do it, you can't be mad at it. But all of just like there's certain information that we get from our OGs or uncles or dads, right? All of their moms and aunts tell them to keep a stash away so y'all not financially abusive, and I don't blame them. Some of y'all be holding over $300 over a girl head like you gave her your lungs and heart. So should it be communicated? Should some of those conversations be open? Yes. Like for me, for instance, I may tell you I bank with Chase and Capital One. Okay, I'm not going to tell you how many accounts I have. Oh, no. No. Nope. Yeah, I'm not doing nothing. You're not fixing the car or nothing? No, I fixed the car. Okay. I'm not telling you nothing. Oh yeah. What I meant? Nope. Broke, baby. I am broke. Nothing. Mm-mm. Nope. Mm-mm.
I'm not telling you nothing.
No. Mm-mm.
Cause why?
For what? Anything that you say can and will be used against you in the court of law or public opinion.
100%.
Nope.
Because why do you need to know my bank account information? Why do you need to know that? If we're in a relationship, of course I'm gonna be holding you down. I'm doing stuff for you. We traveling. We, why? When is it? Why? It's a red flag. If you start asking like, how many bank accounts do you have? That to me is a red flag.
Yeah, I'm gonna lie and say one. Uno. Uno in America, uno in Mexico. Banote. Yeah, if you ask it, I'm wrap it up. What you want? Yep. Until like if we're married, and even then, I'm gonna keep some Swiss account, Greenland account, Bank of Japan. I'm gonna keep some shit tucked away. No.
Always keep $100 in your sock.
You got to keep money tucked away, and you can't be mad at her for doing it. Like, unfortunately, and not saying all men do it, but a lot of men are very controlling, especially when it comes to the money. That's one of the things that men do to keep you in lock and key is to like, yo, I'm gonna take care of you. You don't gotta be a workforce. Okay, and then now you can't get $30 because he mad.
And the crazy thing is, because they said the dude worked the extra shift and side hustle to pay for it. But in all my years of life, I've never asked a woman about her bank account before, because that had nothing to do with me.
Had nothing to do.
Like if I fixed your car, I fixed your car because we're in a relationship. And whether you had the money to fix the car or not, that wouldn't determine whether I helped fix the car or not, because you had the money. Like I don't understand that logic. Like I've never in my life asked a woman, how many bank accounts do you have? How much money do you have in your bank account?
Yeah. So
why would you need to know that information?
I don't know, or the truth is because he doesn't have a surplus. So he's offended that he gave his time to fix the brakes or whatever needs to be fixed. But don't overextend yourself if you can't afford it.
Unless she lied to him. If she came to him like, look, bro, I don't have not a dollar to my name.
She can not have $1 and still have that 15,000 saved away. The savings are savings.
No. But if you have
fellas, a lot of them do that. Like if you give a girl $500, that's her 500. A lot of them will put that right into savings. I shot to the ones I know. They'll date some people and go get 30, 40 grand and put it into the market. I don't have no money. Illiquid.
But so if you have $40,000 in a savings account or in a brokerage account, and somebody says, I have no money, are they lying?
Depending on what account they're looking at. Y'all got to work, because sometimes they'll not even put the app on the phone and show you the one. Yo, Papa, I have $3 in my account. Okay. By Norte, how much is in that? The HSBC. So be careful. And it's another lesson. Only do things out the goodness of your heart without a favor being involved in it. Also, too, you have the option to say, no, I don't want to do it. And let her side do it. Like what would have happened if you didn't do it. That's the other part. You felt some pressure to do it because you knew Michael was going to do it. You got to be careful, yo. Respect better.
Do no good deed seeking return
at all. Just do it out the goodness of your heart.
That's it.
But also do less. That's one of my resolutions this year. My prayer list is long, but my donation list outside of the show real short.
And walk away.
Facts.
Fuck it. You gotta be willing to walk away sometimes in life.
That's the only way you have power.
Your inability to walk away is deep rooted in your insecurity because you don't think that you're going to be able to do something but you got to have
finish that statement, because that's it. Y'all be there taking abuse from women because you know you can't. You're gonna get a 4 on the let out.
That's a fact. But sometimes in life you just gotta have faith
or work on yourself. Go listen to that bullshit Myron be saying. I'm a high level man. I hear y'all. And then what was his name? Roller skate Poppy coming to
roller skate.
You gotta stay working. I know y'all hate hearing some of this, but it be dudes going through this shit, yo, and millionaires too. Just because you have money don't make you fly.
That's a fact.
That do not make you fly. It be going through the same shit.
What about okay, Somali daycare? Shout out to Queen's Flip.
Shout out to Queen's Flip. My guy. Ooh.
Investigative journalism.
I'm not mad at it. Boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Is it a travesty, a financial travesty? Yes. My first thought was, though, while this issue needs to be fixed in the daycare issues, there are so many other issues that revolve around children being mistreated and harmed that are not talked about. Where's the investigative journalism on the missing kids and other things that are happening? Does it suck that some of them daycares got $3 million and they're going to go write a check for a portion, all that? Absolutely. But if we care so much about the kids, let's talk about some of these daycares that are abusing children and spanking them. It was a report of one putting those patches on the kids to make them sleep all day. I won't even get into the atrocities of what the churches and so if we're going to care about the kids, let's care all the way through, not just when it's someone of a darker hue, to not make it a race issue. And if we're going to talk about fraud, we need to talk about some of these corporate bailouts. And I hate to sound like Bernie Sanders and my Tommy, but the corruption and inflation, corporate bailouts, that shit pales in comparison to those daycares if we're going to get to the real fraud that is happening there. But what do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, America was built on fraud. But like I said, the daycare, there's a variety of other daycares that you can pull a curtain back on.
For sure.
Of course, we're not going to support something that's not on the up and up. But
yeah, I'm not in support, just to be very clear.
Make no doubt about it. This was a politically driven
charged. Yep.
And it was propped up on Twitter, which is controlled by Elon Musk. And it was done for political reasons. It wasn't done to have any, reform for daycare reform. Or this was a political witch hunt.
He did a good job, though.
No,
yeah.
I mean that's all you need.
Yeah.
All you need is some fire to gasoline. And you got all these dumbass people coming out to all the way from all over the country to go to the Minnesota. I'm not going to Minnesota.
Why they got to be dumb?
No,
they can be outraged of the misappropriation of funds and the misspending.
Like you said,
let's give context to.
We want to talk about misappropriation of funds and misspending. Hundreds of billions. The Pentagon hasn't.
What? I'm gonna be like Trax videographer. Ooh, get me out the shot. What? The who? Patagonia did what? Troy, want to invest us? Y'all can say I sold out, whatever. Yo, you won't give it up? Certain words, too? No. Patagonia, Central Bank. Shout out to EC Central.
Yeah. But yeah, well, if you've been living under a rock, I guess for anybody that doesn't know, there was a whole thing. There was a YouTuber from Utah that went to Minnesota. There's a high concentration of Somalis that live in Minnesota, so the Somalian population that's been a major target of Trump, going back to Omar Illier, the congresswoman from Minnesota who's also Somalian.
Yeah.
Long story short, they get in front of a daycare. It's supposed to be a learning center for children. They don't even spell the word learning correctly. And
red flag number one.
Yeah. He takes a video and says, look, this is a fraud. They do the records. They see that this place has been getting like $1.2 million, but it's closed. The whole thing. So they just They did a whole like YouTube expose on how this learning center was committing fraud and taking millions of dollars and whatever. And
There were
then
no kids in there.
And then it went viral. And then once again, it was propped up on social media, not by accident. And it started a whole wave of thing and actually led to the Democratic governor, Tim Walz, who was actually running for vice president last time, to say that he's not seeking re-election in the midst of all of this. So one little thing can start a whole fire.
Yeah. And if you're gonna do that with them daycares, at least get some daycare out for free to like give the illusion that you have a daycare. It was pitch black in there. Crazy. So I mean, although the investigative journalism part, yes, it is propped up, but they did uncover something that is happening. But there's a lot of those instances of misappropriation of funds is a term I'll use at a very high level. Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah. What can you do?
Nothing. You got a personal resolution for the year?
New Year's resolution. Oh man.
That you can share.
New Year's resolution.
We can skip it.
No, I'm just thinking because I have different things that try to work on, different goals and daily goals, and I don't know if it's just one particular thing. You?
It's a combination of things. I don't know one that I want to reveal yet because I'm big on holding things close to the chest these days. But maybe next week. Maybe next week I'll reveal what my big resolution is, or maybe not. Who knows? Subject to change my mind based on how I feel.
How you feel about the Chicago protest when it comes to taxes?
Shout out to Chicago. Shout out to the Midwest. Property taxes are high, yo, and I'm not mad at it. The interesting point that can we play the clip?
Yes, let's play the clip, shall we?
I guess $1 Million Tony couldn't make it today. She too busy loving her home she just got for $1 million, while we just received these high property tax bills. So we all here because of our property taxes. Some here, like Zoe and Miss Jessica, because y'all stealing black people property. So I just want to know, because we just came from the city council meeting. We're coming there, and the city is blaming the county, and now you just blaming Springfield. And then when all these people, when they go to these town hall meetings and you send your puppets, they lie and they blame the invisible white man. Somehow they are pushing us out of our community. They want our property. They want black people property. They never say who it is. They just say, you know who they are. But when I come up in here, I see all black faces. I see Democrats. So are we talking about the Democrats are pushing black people out of their communities? The Democrats hate black people. The Democrats want our property and replace us with illegal aliens, because you all come in these meetings talking about the invisible white person, but we don't never see him, but we see all of you all here. And then you sit here, all these black faces, you sit here, all Democrats, and you sit here all arrogantly like your seats are secure, like we are not coming after these seats. Just like I told Brendan Johnson over there the first time I spoke on that mic, I said the same thing that's making y'all laugh and here gonna make y'all cry.
Okay.
The one thing I will say about this is that citizens are smarter than ever. They're communicating more, and some things are not starting to add up. I know I get to railing on the Democrats about them not having a superstar candidate, but when you have a Democratic city like Chicago and things are not going well, and you're using talking points that Republicans are stopping from property taxes coming down. That doesn't make sense. Like Chicago historically has been a Democratic city. So you guys are going to have to find some way to bring change about, because people are not just going to vote blue across the board anymore. And I think there's going to be a lot of, even in the swing of MAGA, and in our community, it happened a lot too. But part of the reason that it happened because a lot of promises on the Democratic side never came through. That doesn't get talked about enough. I know because Trump is supposed to be a businessman and those talking points were there, but the underlying issue is that I kept saying it. When Plies is your main ambassador, you have no fucking hope in winning. I like Plies. I think he's funny. I like some of the songs from back in the day. But if my first spokesman is Flavor Flav, Red Panda going through the floor. So I think the Democratic Party as a whole needs to re-strategize. And the first thing in business or in any political sphere is, what's the ratio of promises delivered versus promises that you gave out in the first place? That ratio is really low. Ratio is really low. At least on their side, if you're MAGA, you can say, well, he went and got the oil for us. You may not benefit, but like you said, we're going to Venezuela. They did the Call of Duty mission. They blacked out the electricity. They grabbed him. They put him in a Nike check and drug him through New York. He kept that fucking promise. And Biden, that administration said they were going to do the same thing. They didn't do it. So I think the Democratic Party has failed to deliver on the promises that they've made. And that's why a lot of people have been checked out of politics in our community and culture.
Yeah.
Probably the hike is too crazy.
I agree. Well, let's bring our guest up if we can. Hey, how's it going?
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
No problem. So Nicole Bell is our guest today, and it's a story that's definitely worth telling. And if you're from New York, I'm pretty sure that you remember, I believe it was like 19 years ago when tragically Nicole's husband, Sean Bell, was killed by the police. And there was a major thing all over the news. It was an event that actually national coverage for it. And it's a story that has not gone away, and police brutality and just that whole level of aggression, unfortunately, has not gone away. We see it happen over and over again. So I know that there's a film and a variety of other different things that but first and foremost, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you guys for having me. I think what you guys do is really dope for the culture. So I'm happy to be here.
No problem. Okay. Well, yeah. So thank you for joining us. Greatly appreciate it. So, first and foremost, how you doing? How's life? How's everything?
Oh man, I'm blessed. I have to say, thank God just for carrying me this far, carrying my entire family, allowing me to raise my girls to be fearless, independent women. I'm blessed. Life, as they say, life is lifing, but I'm just, doing my best, trying to keep Sean's legacy alive, but also shine a light on what happened in Queens back in 2006 and how it's still relevant today. So that's a big part of my journey.
And talk about that, because I mean, your husband's legacy has been carried. Like, even I'm in the basketball world, so the team, Sean Bell, that's one of the top teams in New York. Yeah. And then with the movie, and it's one of these things where it's not going away. But a lot of times for us as a community, we see these incidents happen, and it causes outrage, it causes protests and different things, and it's triggering, but it's different from somebody that's actually a part of it. So from you raising your daughters and having to live that life, like what insight could you share as far as actually being a person on the inside of it and having to go to the court and having to look at the cops and having to, you know, relive this situation? Like what's the perspective from that standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been about claiming reclaiming the narrative. Even with the Sean Bell All-Stars basketball team that you mentioned, shout out to all of them. Shout out to Ra, the coach. When the tragedy happened back in 2006, social media wasn't as big as it is now. So I had no idea so many people were affected. It wasn't until I got out there and got active and started doing the marches and the protests with Reverend Al Sharpton, Tamika Mallory, as you know. These are some of the leaders who were in the background, but they were helping us to shine a light on what was going on. And for me, it's always been about, what can I do next? What can I do to keep his name alive? We didn't get justice the way that I thought we were going to get justice, and that was the cops going to jail. Back when it happened, I was only 22 years old. Sean was 23. We didn't know much about what happens when Black men are killed and what happens in the courts. So I went into it thinking that we were going to get fair and equal justice, because it was plain that 50 shots were fired. The guys didn't have any weapons. They were at a bachelor party, and they left the bachelor party and they engaged with an undercover detective who was in the club investigating the club that night. Nothing to do with the guys. So it was a botched operation from out the gate, and I found that out during the trial. I found out so much as time went on. When Sean went to the bachelor party, his dad came there and celebrated with him. My brother-in-law was with them. That's how I learned about most of the events of what happened that night. And of course, the guys who were in the car with him, Sean wasn't the only one who was shot. He was killed. There were 2 other victims in the car, and everyone has had to try and put their life together since then. So, you know, I learned that the system isn't fair, and if you want justice, you have to go and get it. And for us, it was, you know, what can I do? So starting an organization, I ran the organization for 10 years, from 2008 to 2018. We did Sean Bell Family Days. We created a Sean Bell Little League for South Jamaica community that was free, after school programs, Know Your Rights summits to help people understand what to do when you're approached by police. Again, this was all pre-boom of the social media era. So I think we had like MySpace back then. And since then, seeing so many people lose their life the same way that Sean has, it's you know, it's something that everyone needs to pay attention to. And really, regardless of what's happening in politics, we have to remember like what is important to us, what's important in our morals and our values, and stick to that. And that's always been my journey when it came to Sean.
When something this devastating happens, in terms of support, I know people will say thoughts and prayers, but can you give us a framework for what people can actually do to support you and other victims that have survived some of these instances? Because I feel like we'll protest, we'll talk about it on social, but I feel like a lot of it goes away after a couple of weeks. Can you tell us tonight how we can give longstanding support to you and others that have gone through this?
Yeah, it's tough, and there's really no one answer. Really, we need everyone to just continue to fight the good fight, you know, support where you can. So if there's something coming up, if there's a rally, if there's a meeting, if there's an event, if there's an organization that you see out there that's really pushing to get the culture forward, that's how you can support. You know, we can really go out and do our part. And I know earlier you guys were talking about politics. It's still important that we vote in our local election. I ran for city council in 2010, just on a special election. That was just a part of me, again, finding ways to keep the light on Sean's name. And just recently, District 28 in Jamaica, Queens, they elected Ty Hankerson, who is really dope, an amazing young man who's from South Jamaica. I know him very well, and he's going to do a great job in South Jamaica. This is what's important. We need people to go out and vote for people like that. When it's your local elections, when you have people that are close to you that can really make small changes, and you can actually reach out and touch them. Those are the folks that you need to go out and vote for. A lot of times we rush to vote for the primary and the presidential election, and that's great. We have to do that. But don't forget the local as well. And just don't give up. You know, there's so many things that come in between now and the long road of justice, whatever that is for the victims and their families. And just don't give up. You have to persevere. Like, we didn't get justice, and I thought that was it. I was devastated. We all were devastated. Our nation was devastated. But every year I had to find a way that I can reinvent a way to keep this story present and to remind people of what happened. There's more than one way to skin a cat. And this was really my way of doing that. And I did it my way. You know, I didn't follow a plan. But I'm hopefully, you know, people will see what I've done and say, okay, you know, let's get creative here and let's figure out how we can, you know, shine a light, how we can get social justice, how we can remind people like we have to stick together. And that's what we did with Aftershock.
Talk about like a lot of times people might not fully understand how this works as far as, you know, going to the courts, and then like the police, they come like 50 deep, and it's a very difficult thing to convict a police officer from a variety of different standpoints, from the unions being so strong, and then them, you know, having a certain level of intimidation over even like the court system itself. Like, talk about that aspect.
Yeah, we felt completely like vulnerable in the beginning because the police are protected. They're protected by their unions. And when something like this happens, high-powered lawyers are hired for them to help them beat the case. And it's almost like a board game, almost like checkers, you know, a chess game for them. When really the families are just looking for fairness. And I learned the hard way. You know, we sat through a criminal trial in Queens County, and every day the left side of the courtroom was packed from front to back with uniformed officers. They were there assigned to be at the courtroom. And our side was, you know, the families and the victims. And we were really looking for truth and transparency and closure. And I will never forget the way that it was set up to intimidate us, you know, and the presence of the officers, you know, and how they would pack the courtrooms. And the day of the acquittal, how they lined the courtroom with officers. They had to march in. Like, we were looking like, what the hell is going on? Lo and behold, they were acquitted of all charges, and they were expecting some kind of, you know,
backlash.
Yeah, they were expecting backlash. So there were several stages, y'all. The criminal was just the first level. You know, we went through the federal investigation where they were investigating for civil rights violations for Sean. It's a completely different charge. And after a year, we were told that there wasn't enough evidence to prove malice, and that the evidence had been so poorly managed in the state case. We went through the civil settlement, and then there was departmental hearings. Departmental hearings was one police plaza, or the police department, pretty much against themselves. So now they're deciding what your punishment will be internally. Will you be fired? Will you be allowed to retire with benefits? What will be the ramifications? And there were 5 officers involved in total. 3 of them were criminally charged and acquitted. In the departmental hearing, at the end of the day, 1 of them was terminated, and the others were allowed to retire with their benefits. So, you know, for most people, that was it. You know, that's all you can do. But it was after all of that, Sean was taken, there was more injustice happening, and that was in the justice system at that point. I had to find a way to get this in front of people's, you know, eyes, and for them to not forget. And you know, it's so much, you know, to unpack there. It really is. I'm just really blessed to say that I'm still here and mentally sane to be able to share my story with you guys, and as much as I can.
That's heartbreaking. For those who may feel hopeless, because a lot of times we get told, well, maybe if we interacted better with the officers, things would de-escalate, but we know that's not the truth. What advice have you given to mothers who may have came to you and wanted your insights? And the truth is that there will never be justice. So how do you keep fighting knowing that the system is corrupt and there never will be true justice for your husband?
Yeah, that's inside of you. You know, the moment that you say there's never going to be justice, that's the moment you give up. And that's when they win. And I'm a person who doesn't give up. I don't give up easily. And you can't be the person who doesn't give up. And that's one thing that I've always had burning inside of me, is that you may have won that level, but there's more here and it's not over. And that's always been who I am. You know, just been growing up in South Jamaica, Queens. You get that inside of you. You know, it's like I can't let you have that and win over me. And that's how I'm able to sleep at night. But advice to mothers who have lost their child: for one, no mother should ever have to bury their child. No father should ever have to lose their child. And to this day, I try to touch base with Mrs. Bell, Sean's mom, because of that. Doesn't matter if it's been 19 years. That's her baby, and she lost him. And for the rest of her life, you know, Thanksgiving, that seat will be open. And so advice to people who feel like they're losing hope, or mothers who have lost, is take it one day at a time. You can't, you know, what do they say? How do you eat an elephant?
Yeah, one bite at a time.
One bite at a time. You can't do it all at once. And as badly as it hurts us, as badly as you want this to be over with right away, someone's life has been taken. You know, a great injustice has happened. The community, the nation has lost trust. And it's important that you don't give up. Find a way to hold on, you know, one way or the other. Surround yourself with people who pour into you and give you positivity, and X out everybody that's on the opposite of that. Anybody who's speaking negative or bringing gossip, you got to cancel them out, because that's poison to your soul. And I had to learn on several different levels how to protect my own peace and how to be strong enough to raise my girls. Jordan, who was the baby at the time when Sean was killed, she's a sophomore at Howard University. I'm so proud of her. Great A's. I'm so proud. I know her father is he's smiling. He's smiling in heaven. Jada is the oldest, and she's gone to college. She's living on her own. She has her own condo in Jersey. She's working, and I'm just really proud. Those are my best friends, my girls. They keep me strong. I pour into them. They pour into me. Years ago, I said, I don't know how I'm going to find the words to be able to tell them what happened. And as proud as I am of them, they look to me and tell me, Ma, I'm proud of you, you know, and that, to me, that's everything. And I feel like I've won. I feel like we've won. You know, those officers, I don't know where they are today. I don't know what happened to them. I have no idea where they are. I haven't seen, I think in 2016, there was an article that kind of followed up with them to see where they were at the time. I don't know where they are today, but I do hope that they've had time to let this sit in and understand what they've done. And God, at the end of the day, has the last word, and he's the judge, he's the jury. And that's who you have to answer to at the end of the day. So for everybody out there looking for hope, you guys got to hang on. Just hang in there. Surround yourself with your people. Find your network of people, and you're going to realize you're not alone, and you will make it.
So talk about the movie, and you know, the thought process behind that, and the whole idea of putting that together.
Yeah. So shout out to Manny Halley. I met Manny many years ago. Him and I discussed the idea of doing a film. We didn't know what angle. There's so many angles I've learned that you can do this from. And for a long time, it was just talk. We were talking about, okay, how can we do this? How can we shine a light on the story? And then Manny's production team decided, all right, we're going to do this, Nicole, from your view, from your angle. You were there. You can tell us everything. So I'm a producer on the project. I work with them every step of the way. So from script to production, pre-production, casting, post-production. Initially, I sat down with the writers and told my story. I just told my story the same way I've always done for years. And the magnificent writers and everything that they do, they came up with a script. And the story, the movie, it spans from 2000 to 2021. It's a huge span throughout the time frame. So we weren't able to get everything in one. But some of the things that people, were important, those are the ideas, those are the concepts that we got. So Reverend Sharpton was always there from the beginning. He supported us and helped us shine a light. This was 2006, so we didn't have many of the movements that we have now. A lot of those movements came from what happened to Sean, what happened to Eric, what happened to Trayvon. That's where the movements were born. So being a part of that film, to me, honestly, the other day I was on Prime Video and the advertisement popped up, I still can't believe that we did this. And I'm so proud that I found another way to be able to shine a light on what happened to him and remind people that, listen, this is the struggle. This is a part of our culture, but storytelling has been the way that we've always learned about our history. It's through stories. It's through stories of the past. So this is just a continuation of that. But I'm really proud of the project, especially big shout out to Manny, his entire team. They really did their big one on this one. I'm really proud. And I just hope that everyone is proud. Anybody who gets a chance to check it out. It is triggering. I had to go back to therapy for this, and my daughters, we watched it in private. I spoke to Sean's mom privately about this before it came out. Some of the people who were really, really impacted, the victims. And this is it. And now Aftershock is born. And after this, we're going to continue to find other ways to tell. And I'm going to help other people. That's my next goal, is to really find a way to shine a light on other stories and help other victims of different types of injustice tell their stories.
And Prime is the primary place where people can watch it, because I want everybody here to watch it tonight.
Yes. So Aftershock is on digital. It's available on Apple TV, Prime Video, and Fandango Home.
I know you said it covers a span of 20 years, but what are some of the takeaways that you want people to walk away from the film? And then, like, what's a course of action after watching the movie you want them to take?
Yeah. So the movie, obviously, it starts off with how Sean and I met. We both went to John Adams High School in Ozone Park. So we met there, starts off there. And then it fast forwards to the wedding night and the bachelor party and what happened after the bachelor party. And then it goes through what happens in the background. So in our community back in 2006, 2007, there was a lot happening with stop and frisks and undercover detectives, raids that were happening in the community right after he got killed. To it happened in the buildings, the apartment buildings where most of the guys were from. So I received phone calls, I received hate mail from people who were on the police's side. All sorts of crazy things. Artists who supported us, they were targeted by police after that. Elected officials who supported us, their campaigns were targeted by police after that. And they were being accused of being anti-police because they supported us. And none of us were anti-police. In fact, we have police officers in our family. It wasn't about that. It was really about the men who did this and everybody who allowed it to happen, and every level of government who allowed the injustice to take place. That's what this is about. So the movie features that, just that. It features the levels, the federal, the families that have been affected since then, and all of the similarities that have happened with victims who have lost their lives. So the takeaway, I would say, is we have to continue to tell our stories. There's one thing out there that's stopping us, and right now is that Black and brown men, when it comes to police officers, there has always been a challenge there. There's always been a challenge there. More and more so, we have things being highlighted on social media, so it becomes like a norm, and people are feeling like, you're getting used to it. You're getting used to it. You almost become numb to it. But we can't let that happen. We can't let that happen, and we have to continue to stand up in whichever way that is. And for you guys, it's EYL, it's podcast, it's your podcast, it's your organization, it's everything that you're bringing to our culture. Each and every one of us play a role, no matter where you are. If you're a teacher, if you're an attorney, if you have an organization giving financial literacy, whatever it is, we all play a volatile role when it comes to our culture. And that's how you give back. That's how you pay it forward. That's how you support your community. That's how we support each other and educate each other. And my goal is to educate people on what happens in the injustice system and what happens when the justice system fails us.
Well, I want to thank you. Thank you for your time. I want to encourage everybody to watch Aftershock.
Yes.
Amazon Prime, Apple, and you said
Fandango.
Fandango.
Yeah.
So make sure you watch that. Vitally important, and it's part of the education that I think everybody should have as far as America, because a lot of times even people that's not from our culture should be educated on that, because you don't have a full appreciation on things when your reality is so much different than somebody else's reality. So it's like you can never really think about how a police officer can do something like that, because in the neighborhood that you grew up in, they were just heroes. You never had any bad interaction with a cop before. So I think it's important for everybody to watch something like that, because people that already can identify with it is one thing, but people that can't identify with it, not everybody, but some of them might have a different level of thinking about certain things when they're exposed to a certain level of alternate reality, to something that they're not traditionally used to.
Thank you for adding that. That's extremely important. It really is. It is an educational piece, and you can learn so much about it, because Sean and this was a love story that ended tragically, and there's no color behind love. Like, we've all experienced it. We've all been in love before. It's happened on what was supposed to be our biggest day of our lives, our wedding day. He was killed. And this is for everyone. We need you guys to get out there, like, stream the movie, have conversations, talk to your kids, talk to your college students. These are our future leaders. That's where the change is going to happen. So, watch the film, have conversations after, and stay tuned. There will be more. And, we appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys for having us, and the production appreciates you guys for allowing us to come on and talk about the thing.
No problem. No problem. Well, once again, thank you. Appreciate it. And everybody, make sure you watch it. But thank you for coming on. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right. Okay.
It's heavy. That is heavy. Blessings to her and her family and Sean's mom. But a lot of people don't know, like you said, these injustices happen. It's almost like
you're just making something up.
Yeah, it's like you're almost lying or fabricating how bad something is.
Yeah.
And since that incident, it's only
gotten worse.
Increased and gotten worse.
That's a fact. But that was a big thing when you got shot. 50 shots. 50 shots went into the car. And like she said, they didn't have any gun or nothing. So 50 shots fired into an unarmed car. And they got acquitted. And yeah, man. I remember when Yayo had that verse. He's like, "Fuck the police. They killed Sean Bell."
Yeah, that was big.
Yeah, nah. It's an unfortunate situation, but like you said, man, something that keeps happening. So, I think it's good that we got a chance to hear from somebody that was actually a part of the situation, to kind of hear, how something like that could really just, for no reason, really. If you really think about it, like, you ruined so many different lives. Well, not ruined, but you impacted so many different lives.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah.
It wasn't even necessary. It wasn't like they had a gun and you was fighting.
And you were threatened.
Like,
yeah.
You just opened a 50 round on a car that had no one gun on it and just killed a person that was a father and a husband and a son. Just because you just overreacted.
And you talked about, you guys had an episode on this, but there are bonds and funds for police when this happens. It's a big industry and that's a corrupt side of capitalism. When injustices happen, you'll lose a civil lawsuit, but there's protection money for lawyers and payouts for them upon them killing us.
That's a fact.
It's crazy.
The local government's already got the fund already set aside for it.
Yep.
All right, guys. This is an educational show.
For sure.
Blackout.
Robin Hood, we need the Dowry index. Going back to 74, please.
Chaos, the Wagyu.
The Wagyu push president.
The Wagyu beef merchant.
That's crazy. You see the gender reveal when the dude tried to dunk and he missed the dunk and fell and bust his head?
Nah, I didn't see that.
Girl. I said these gender reveals getting crazy.
Nah, they getting too crazy.
Yeah, we need to wrap this era up.
They getting too crazy.
Yeah,
man.
it's too wild.
They getting too crazy. All right, y'all. Spin rail tomorrow, 6 o'clock. Earn your leisure. Ian Schwartzman, our Joe Biden business partner.
It's gonna be a great one.
Yeah, man, we back.
My boy's talking spicy.
That's a fact. That's a fact. But all right, everybody, stay safe out there. We'll see you soon.
Next week, Rashad gonna tell you where to find the out of state joints to import them in state to you. Stay tuned for part 2.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.